I want to make a video, in particular about infinity numbers. And to give context, I've actually wanted to make this video for a while because I think he brings a lot of drama in a sense that I think needs to be addressed. And there's like many factors that come into Melee and the narratives that make it really unfavorable for a new player to climb up. And what I mean is this is something like I had to deal with when I was first rising up in NorCal, and everybody would disregard my wins. They would say, oh, he's just a chic player, he's lucky. Pretty much like anybody other than a Spacies main gets like the benefit of the doubt. Even like a Falcon main, if they win, it's like, oh, like, yeah, they deserve it. But if it's like a Peach, a Samus, a Sheik, Jigs, or Ice Climbers, then it's like, oh, like they just gimmick their way. Aside from that, there's this narrative going around, and you look through comments, and I really just want to address kind of like what makes like good analysis and in attributing to a player's skill. And so when you look on Reddit, you look even like amongst top players about like why a person wins or why a person loses. It gets really frustrating sometimes to really read and sort out, to kind of dismiss gameplay into very broad sweeping statements. So in this case, we'll talk about infinity numbers. A lot of people said, well, he just won because he's Ice Climbers. He won because he just wobbled all his stocks. But that's like really surface level stuff. And what I mean is that you can say, yes, like he got the wobble, but if we look a layer beneath that and do proper analysis, what ultimately led to those wobbles? Was it something gimmicky? Was it good play? Was he eliminating options to earn that space? Was he controlling corner? Was he, waiting patiently, waiting for the right spots? So when you say that a person's just wobbling to win, and I would say in the case of this kid Boogie, his neutral game, especially in 2014, was very gimmicky, don't get me wrong. But you really have to look at every match and see, like, how did he earn that wobble? Was it just random 50-50 guess, or did he actually like play the neutral game really solid and earn those opportunities before you make those statements? And likewise, if you say Jigs just gets a rest, or Hungrybox is playing the neutral really gimmicky, it's really dismissive in terms of like what the actual gameplay says about the game. So I went ahead and I watched a lot of infinity numbers matches. It was kind of hard to see, mainly because their webcam, a lot of it wasn't streamed. The only match that was really streamed was Hungrybox. And if we're gonna start from there, I thought infinity numbers, if you were to tell me that he just played 6 months ago or 9 months ago, started playing Ice Climbers, I really wouldn't have believed it. Because his control of the character, his neutral game was actually pretty solid. I could see like the reads he was going for and the spacing that he was trying to attack at. Unfortunately, Hungrybox is just a significantly stronger player, so there was no match there. But I watched his matches against MacD in particular, and the way he earned his wobbles were actually really impressive, where he would just space outside a down smash and then he'd wave dash and grab. That actually is really hard to do, and it requires a lot of mental discipline. So you may like say in the future, well, MacD will never have to down smash again. Well, for the fact of the matter that infinity numbers is really good with the timing of it and is able to eliminate the prospect of MacD using down smash in the future is actually a really good skill to have. And so I just wish that, and then you look at their neutral game, I look at the command of how infinity numbers, uses his hitboxes, how he uses Sopo, how he uses up tilt, up air, back air. It all looked really solid. And I can't really dismiss that. Even his Sopo play, like, it's not as strong as Wobbles, but like, to dismiss a player's skill level and say, well, he's not like the very best player of the main is actually like really unfair. It's like saying, SFAT's Fox is not good because it doesn't move as fast as Mango. Well, like, you're putting like an unfair standard on the player to really, like, of comparison to say either they have to be like the very best of that character like Wobbles, or like they're trash. So overall, I know that a lot of the top players that actually played Infinity Numbers gave him a lot of props, a lot of praise. MacD said like he's a good player, but I really hope that the discussion that goes on goes deeper than that, and that it's not dismissed as, oh, this guy's just a wobbler, he's not that good. Granted, he did get a lot of kills, but I hope that we begin to do our research and do a better job of analyzing the gameplay to just really, and not really have this dismissive attitude towards players, especially newer ones that are actually rising up and getting good. I think that's a growing trend of 2016. is that there are a lot of players rising up, just largely due to, you know, the advent of 20XX, and for there to be a lot more tournaments in general, have and created a really good environment for new players to spring up and to continue to do well. Now, do I think that Infinity Numbers is like a top 10 player in the world? No. Do I think that he's a better overall player than MacD? Probably not. So I'm not going to, you know, jump on our gun and say like Infinity Numbers is the best player in the world, that he's the best ice climbers in the world because Nintendo and Wobbles can beat MacD, but Infinity Numbers could. I'm not going to jump to those conclusions, but what I am saying is that, you know, I liked a lot of what I saw from Infinity Numbers. I don't think it was totally a fluke for him to win. And I think he does have the raw skill set and improvement to make a lot of these openings repeatable, where it's not just a flash in the pan. So those are just my thoughts on Infinity Numbers, and I hope that we all continue to open our minds to just really evaluate Melee at a deeper level.